The Advanced Start feature could provide more ways to play Civilization 7. Here's what you need to know about the feature, which could bring life to late game starts in Civ 7. Now, if you're a regular viewer, you may be starting to understand that I basically have an attention span which can be described as worse than the average 10-year-old, so it will come as no surprise that when I found out that there's a new feature which allows you to pre-build a civilization before starting in either of the two later ages in the game, well, it's fair to say I was buying in straight away. In the latest Civ livestream, they showed off what an advanced start for the Exploration Age looks like. Instead of starting with a founder unit as you do in the Antiquity Age, Advanced Starts give you a capital city already founded, a piece of terrain revealed from the Fog of War, and wildcard legacy points which can be spent to piece together your starting Civ. In the Exploration Age, players will receive 7 wildcard legacy points to spend on a variety of bonuses. Amongst those that we saw are militaristic bonuses such as the ability to gain armies of different unit types. We also saw economic bonuses such as the option to gain 1000 gold, free civics, we saw scientific bonuses, the option to gain a wildcard attribute point for your leader to develop them, and most interestingly of all for me, the option of spending 2 legacy points to put down an additional city, or 1 legacy point to place down a town. So that's how an advanced start will work. Essentially, you're piecing together your civilization before you start the game in a later age. But why am I so positive about this seemingly small feature? Why have I dedicated a full video to it? Well, first up, and possibly I'm stating the obvious here, but this feature should fundamentally make a later start more appealing. As a general rule in the past, I've never felt particularly enthusiastic about these. I've always thought they didn't really make much sense. This goes all the way back to my experience with Civilization Revolution's Beta Centauri. I just haven't got it. Perhaps I'm cynical, but founding the City of London a decade from now, with a tiny population and building tanks straight away, never felt like an optimised experience. I did admire the scenario's attempt to pitch itself as a battle to colonise Earth 2.0, and Gandhi taking his war machine to another planet was a beautiful sight, but it was undoubtedly just a glorified late game start, which I didn't have too much fun with. And since then, I haven't given late game starts too much attention. But this new advanced start feature could change that, and it's got me quite intrigued. Ultimately, the ability to place towns and cities, which you will once again be using the settler lens for in Civ 7 by the way, and also to specialise your strength through the legacy paths, will ensure that the empire you start with actually feels like your own. No more Civ Rev Beta Centauri style disappointment. Players will now be settling into an established empire with several towns and cities, appropriate to taking on the challenges of the age you have selected. This will hopefully open up a whole new way to play that is equally as enjoyable as playing the whole game through. Another thing which I think is really promising about this is that it will give new tactical challenges with decisions to be made on the direction you take your starting civilization in. Should you spend your points on founding more towns and cities, or do you need some early military units to either defend your lands or seize those of your rivals, even down to the question of whether to place your towns and cities before starting the game or to take them as settlers to allow you to explore for better land first. So much will need to be considered to give you the best possible start. The Advanced Start feature is undoubtedly going to give a new dimension to starting your Civ games in a later age, and I'm sure that strategies will almost certainly vary depending on whether you're facing an AI or human opponent. Now, I'm going to be honest, I have some properly unhealthy trust issues when it comes to Civ multiplayer, so if we have any kind of subscriber games, fully expect me to start with an army fitting of a paranoid dictator. The reveal of Advanced Starts also gives us more evidence as to what direction Civ 7 is going in. If you've been following Civ 7 so far, and by the way I'm really enjoying making these videos, so feel free to subscribe if you want to see more of these, but if you have been following the game, you may have noticed that streamlining gameplay mechanics and implementing features that encourage players to see the game through to the end are a couple of the defining themes of what we've seen so far. Obviously, Advanced Starts fit with this approach perfectly. Alongside the fact that Civ 7's ages have been designed to be playable as their own unique and segmented experience, if Firaxis can deliver on the promise, then Advanced Starts may open up the door for Civilization 7 to be experienced in a shorter amount of time and in a narrower historical period. Just because it won't be from the start of the Antiquity Age to the end of the Modern Age, Advanced Starts are one of the tools Civ 7 is deploying to encourage players to see their game of Civ through. I'd expect to hear about even more features that support this approach between now and launch. I actually think that most people will like the concept of the Advanced Start mechanic, but it's fair to say my last video was a little bit more controversial. To see why, you can click on the video on screen now, but basically we're talking about why I think changing civilizations might not be the end of the world. Thank you so much for watching this video today though, and I will catch you very soon for another one.